Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and the best part about Overwatch heroes is that there are many aspects that make them exciting or make us fall in love with them. Like maybe it's Genji's gameplay and the way that you're able to control him, or maybe it's Reinhardt's voice actor and how excited he is just to be in the building recording his lines. Or maybe it's McCree's giant peen. The fact of the matter is there are many reasons as to why a hero can be very exciting, and the same can be said about why a hero can be extremely boring, man! Now, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard picking heroes that carry the baggage of being the most boring hero in Overwatch, but this is a top 5 video, and I still managed to pick 5 heroes that either A, their skins and items were boring, B, their character and personality was boring, or C, just their straight up gameplay is boring. Again, when looking at this list, it's not just the way that you play the hero, because I'm gonna be honest, Winston would probably be at number 1 on this list just because all you do is press right trigger and then electricity comes out for you. But really, can that be said about anyone else? That you just press right trigger and it is done for you. But the thing about Winston is that he's a talking scientist that's able to jump around, has a bubble as a shield. Like, that is an interesting character. And there's some characters that have no unique personalities, no unique aspects. So it's like, come on, bruh, do you really want to hang out with him? Do you really want to go to a party and try to get a girl with it? Like, no, you don't want to do that, fam. And just like how you don't want to vote in the top right hand corner for something that is in the top 5 best workshop game modes, but knowing y'all are gonna do it. I'm not even gonna say what is gonna be going against the top 5 best workshop game modes, because anything at this point can go against it and it'll probably win. I could put the top 5 workshop game modes against the top 5 workshop game modes and it'll still lose. But anyway, let's look at the top 5 most boring heroes in Overwatch. I can't wait to see the biasness in the comments. Now, when you start to look at the beginning of our list, it's gonna be a hero that may not be so deserving of this spot just because he is the newest hero. He hasn't had a lot of time to develop his character, but the way that I look at it, there have been multiple heroes that got announced that people fall in love with because they had that thing, whether it was Ana being a BA grandma or it was Ashe with her thick boy robot. But for the number 5 spot, I'm going with Sigma because his thing is schizophrenia. I really do think Sigma was added into the game for gameplay purposes. I mean, that could be said for any hero, but then you also gotta think there are lore and character development that come out of that hero right away. Sigma is not one of those heroes, and when you really think about it, he kind of came out of nowhere. We really weren't expecting Sigma, because when you look at the end of the archive event, there's the big beefy tank guy that we were all expecting to be, well, hero 31. So we're expecting a beefy boy, and then out of nowhere, here comes this pasty white skinny schizophrenia looking boy. We just scratch our head and be like, okay, I guess. So who is Sigma? What does he do? Well, he's a part of Talon. That's it. So lore-wise, yeah, he's pretty boring, but again, he is the newest hero. And then you look at his character. Is anyone really falling in love with his character? Is anyone really loving the fact that he just can hear this melody in his head? It's a little bit creepy. Some people can be turned on by I'm not friends with those people, me personally, but his character isn't something that I really latch onto right away, but that just might not be my cup of tea. And then we see his items, his skins, and I'm like, yeah, they're fitting for you, but then again, I don't like your personality, so that's why I'm not falling in love with your skins and items. And then when you look at his gameplay, this is actually kind of exciting. I mean, his primary form of fire, ultimate, and even his shield is interesting as well. I mean, a retractable shield, that is pretty dope. But again, that's not the main reason why I'm putting these heroes on this list. There's much more that encompasses a hero than just the way that they play. So in due time, I'm sure this position will change for Sigma because they will expand on the story of Talon, which I think is the main reason why they put him into the game. But the way that I look at it is that if he was not added into the game, I'm sure there would be a very, very small amount of people that would be crying. But other than that, I don't think he'd be that missed. Now we have a controversial pick because there are so many people that quote-unquote stan this hero, but you have to understand the gameplay of this hero is straight up boring, dog. And at the number 4 spot, we have the queen herself, someone that I got the gold gun for, Symetra. Now maybe it's because I enjoy the Overwatch movies or the cinematography rather than just reading about Overwatch lore, because I read at a 3rd grade level and act at a 3rd grade level, but I don't see a lot of Symetra lore. Just like Sigma, I don't really see her character getting expanded upon. The only lore that I know about Symetra is when Lucio's in the spawn room crying to Symetra being, you know, if it wasn't for the Viscar organization, we wouldn't be dying and we wouldn't be... Symetra mains know every single piece of information when it comes to Symetra. Is it a lot? Is it really a lot to where I need to appreciate this hero more for the story of Symetra? Probably not. Now, when it comes to the character, this is a little bit more mellow of a character, and I understand that I might be a child and I like the very aggressive, very loud heroes like Diva or like McCree. Well, he's more of like a deep tone, excited hero, but you get what I'm trying to say. Symetra is not at all that flashy character, and that's not bad. But look at it like this. Is this someone that you want to try to take to the bar? Is this someone that you want to try to take clubbing to try to find your future wife? First of all, you shouldn't find your wife at the club because she's just gonna leave you. She's gonna get you pregnant and she's gonna leave you. But Symetra's not that hero is what I'm trying to get at. But the thing that makes her the most boring, not the most boring, she's the fourth most boring character in Overwatch, is her freaking gameplay, man. You shoot shields. You shoot a blue object that can't defend itself for 3 seconds to then get to the fun part. That is how boring her gameplay is, but not just her primary form of fire. It's also her turrets. Her turrets do your work for you. Like, you sit around and you don't do anything and you're winning. You're doing good. That is how boring Symetra can be, to the point where you don't even have to play the video game. But when you look at the third most boring hero in Overwatch, there just really isn't anything to talk about or anything to roast, because there isn't really anything to talk about. I feel like there's potential, but then think about it, what kind of potential? Because there would have been some by now. At the third spot, it's IRISA. I get it, she's a robot, and robots typically don't have personalities, but tell me how Bastion has one of the cutest personalities in the game and he doesn't even have a freaking face! That's why I'm upset. That's why I think IRISA is so boring, is because there is actual emotions that you can see in every single scenario that she is involved in. Why does she feel so soulless? Why does she feel like she is someone that is just being controlled by a 9-year-old girl? Oh wait, it's because she is. Evie has a much more interesting backstory that I want to read upon. Like, how is she smarter than my social studies group at grade 12 that can't even finish 2 of their PowerPoints? Like, we've been telling you to finish your slide. No. I always get off topic and I'm sorry about that. But the way that I look at it is that IRISA's had 2 years, 2 whole years to have her personality be expanded upon, and Blizzard just doesn't really care to do anything with this hero. Her skins and items are a little bit lame as well, where for about a year and a half, she's only had 1 good skin, and that was Force Spirit, and just recently she got Demon, which is another good skin. So even Blizzard isn't too keen on showing some love towards IRISA. The community, especially for the top 5 skin series that I had, even tried to make her a meme at one point just because she was so boring and just so lackluster. Man, I love IRISA. I feel like they can really tell a good story, but it's hard with Omnix, man. But for the second most boring hero in Overwatch, it's gonna be one that Blizzard is trying their hardest to seem interesting, and guess what? It's just not working, man, because I don't care about this hero, and there's many reasons for it, but it's gonna be Batiste. I have a story to tell which explains the reasons as to why I think Batiste is so boring and uninteresting, because while I was at BlizzCon, I went to a panel which had a bunch of Overwatch heroes voice actors. It had Mercy, Symetra, and even Batiste, and all of them were so happy and excited to be at BlizzCon, including Batiste. And while watching this panel, I got to hear a bunch of stories about these voice actors and how they were so excited to be a part of the Overwatch hero roster, to record these voice lines, and to be working with Blizzard. But when it got to Batiste, his story was actually the opposite. He saw this just as a job, and he didn't even really want to be a part of Overwatch. He didn't really even care to work for Blizzard, and he didn't want to record his voice lines. It wasn't until after he found out about Batiste and the character, after he found out about Overwatch and found out about Blizzard and the Blizzard community, that he then got excited. So he had a lack of enthusiasm while recording these voice lines, and you can definitely tell when you just listen to Batiste. It's not really all that exciting. And I understand that not every hero has to be loud and annoying to seem like they're so excited to be a part of Overwatch, but when it came to Batiste, there was just something off. And after hearing that story, I knew exactly that was the reason why. So the main reason why he's so boring is the way that he presents himself. His gameplay is alright. His skins and items, just like Sigma, he's a brand new hero, so it's a little bit unfair to just include him on this list, but his personality, his character is a huge reason why he's so high on the list. But he's not worse than number 1. Nothing will be worse than the number 1 spot, because this hero was made to be boring, and I guess that's the exciting part. But when your characteristic is to be boring, Don't you think you will be the #1 most boring hero in Overwatch? So that's why I had to put him at the top of the list. Ladies and gentlemen, the #1 most boring hero in Overwatch is Soldier 69. Now, I know Jack Morrison is seen as the sex god and someone that we would all love to be adopted by because he's this father figure that we come to know and love, but that's the thing now, is that we made this personality for him. We projected this stereotype that fits him, and before then, he had nothing going for him. We, the community, made Soldier 76 who he is today. Not Blizzard, us. We created this meme. If it wasn't for us, he wouldn't have the Grillmaster 76 skin. If it wasn't for us, well, that's about it, because he doesn't get any other good skins, which is another reason why he's so boring. I know Grillmaster is good, and Slasher 76 is good as well, but every other skin is a straight up L for this man, and it's because there are no unique or defining features about him. He is, just like Sigma, he is this pasty old white dude with an assault rifle. That is the most basic, generic model of a character that you can ever follow, because that is literally what every single Battlefield and Call of Duty has, and none of those games have good characters unless you're talking about like specialists. But really, when it comes to those games, their characters are so forgettable. But then the gameplay, oh, the oh so fabulous gameplay. You wanna know what one of his abilities allows him to do? Run. You move your legs faster. Now that can be considered unique because he is the only character in the game that can change his speed. Wait, no, Diva can do that. And Reinhardt, actually. So maybe it's not all that interesting, but he can run. But if he gets hacked, he can't run, which is a little bit weird. But then when you activate your ultimate and you're expecting a fun time like Genji or maybe even Reinhardt, you then realize that his ultimate aims for you. How boring is that? And that's why he's the #1 hero. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you think Batiste should be #1. Or maybe you think Winston should be somewhere on this list. That's what the comment section is for, because I encourage you guys to comment who you think are the most boring heroes or just hero in Overwatch. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.